do things in the valley.
Robbie, kick some ass!
This is my fault. I caused this.
Cobra Kai saga is over. Or is it? Well, based on the latest news we got, yes, the Netflix show is taking a break. But the saga is far from over. You heard it right. The Cobra Kai franchise is continuing in the most unexpected way possible with an epic new cast that will shock you to your core. So, without further ado, let's talk about it. If you watched the Cobra Kai Season 6 finale, you already know that these last episodes didn't hold back. If you didn't watch them yet, I don't know what are you guys doing in this video. In the finale, everything built up to major moments, placed in a meticulous way, especially for the legendary characters from the original movies. One of the biggest shockers to me was the final showdown between villains John Kreese and Terry Silver. I don't know about you guys, but to me, this final scene wasn't just a fight. It was a literal explosive ending for these two. Watching Silver's yacht goes up in flames, taking both of them with it was simply epic. Like, there is no better way to explain it. And it was all because Kreese, in his usual Kreese way, decides to take things to a whole new level. This time with a cigar that leads to ultimate destruction. It's the kind of over-the-top moment that only Cobra Kai could pull off. Like, feel free to disagree with me in the comments, but personally, I would have felt the ultimate cringe for such a scene in any other show. For Cobra Kai, though, I'm making an exception. On the other side of the story, there was triumph for the younger fighters who had been working toward their big tournament moments. Both Miguel and Tori end up as champions, and deservingly so, cementing their places as two of the best fighters to ever come out of the series. But even with all the chaos, one thing was clear. Cobra Kai was always Johnny Lawrence's story. I know, a lot of you guys are not a fan of him. But respectfully, I think you are wrong. This is one of the best characters that have ever written for TV or cinema. And I think the Season 6 finale only proved this. Episode 15, titled Ex-Degenerate, which is a clear callback to the pilot episode, Ace Degenerate, set up Johnny's most important fight yet. This time, it wasn't just about proving himself. It was about finally facing the past that had haunted him since 1984. Johnny steps up to fight Wolf, the ruthless sensei of the Iron Dragons, Cobra Kai's ultimate rival, and the stakes couldn't be higher. The Seikai Taikai tournament is tied, and the only way to break it is through a final showdown between senseis. It's the first time Johnny has fought in a tournament since he lost to Daniel LaRusso at the All Valley decades ago. I mean, we all know that loss defined so much of his life. And now here he was, standing in the ring once again. Like, I'm tearing up simply talking about it. Even after all this time, Johnny still carried the weight of that loss, and it showed. At this point, as avid Cobra Kai fans, we all know that the fight doesn't start in the ring. It starts in the locker room. And in this particular locker room, Wolf got successfully inside Johnny's head, shaking his confidence. By the time Johnny steps onto the mat, he's already 2 points down. He's about to lose. But then, something shifts. Daniel, yes, the same Daniel who beat him all those years ago, steps in as his sensei. It's a moment that hits hard, for all of us, I believe. Like, we watched this series for all these years, simply to reach this point. Am I right? Yes, Johnny and Daniel's journey has been one of rivalry, then turned into reluctant respect, and then, the best part, a true friendship. At the very end, Daniel gives Johnny the advice that changes everything, which is to be defensive, not offensive. This is what lost him the All Valley, and this is what can help him win now. I don't know about you guys, but I take this advice for my life as well, because I think we can all use some stepping back and taking a defense rather than offense. And with all these, it all comes down to one final point. Johnny takes Daniel's advice, shifts his strategy, and lands the winning move. Just like that, he takes the victory, not just in the fight, but in his own personal arc. He finally lets go of the ghosts of his past, and it's honestly the perfect way to end his journey. But let me know what you thought of it. With the tournament wrapped up, the final moments of Cobra Kai set up what comes next, which is the part that we actually care about. The high school fighters move on, stepping into their futures, while Johnny starts fresh with a new batch of students. It's a full circle moment, reminding me why I fell in love with this show in the first place. But just because Cobra Kai is over doesn't mean the Miyagi-verse is done. In May, Sony is dropping Karate Kid Legends, a new movie that brings Daniel LaRusso back alongside Mr. Han, played by Jackie Chan from the 2010 reboot. This movie takes place 3 years after Cobra Kai ends, and introduces a new protagonist, Li Fong, a kung fu prodigy struggling to fit in after moving to New York City. Eventually, he enters a karate competition and is taken under the wing of both Han and LaRusso. Now here's the thing. Legends is not directly connected to Cobra Kai. While it exists in the same Karate Kid world, the show's creators, aka Hayden Schlossberg, John Hurwitz, and Josh Heald, weren't involved in making the movie, but they were consulted to ensure everything still feels like part of the same universe. Director Jonathan Entwistle even confirmed that he had detailed conversations with the Cobra Kai team to keep the continuity as tight as possible. That being said, it's still unclear if any other Cobra Kai characters besides Daniel will appear. I'd love to see some surprise cameos, but for now, nothing has been confirmed. As for what's next for the Cobra Kai creators, we know that they've made it pretty clear they're not done with the Karate Kid world just yet. They've openly talked about wanting to do a prequel about Mr. Miyagi, something that would dive deep into his past and his journey before becoming Daniel's mentor. Apparently, nothing definitive has happened with that project yet, but they've been planting the seeds for a while now. And let's be real, if there's one character in this franchise who deserves a deep dive, it's Mr. Miyagi. His legacy has shaped everything in Cobra Kai and Karate Kid. Exploring his story would be a perfect way to keep this universe going. And of course, there's always the possibility of more spin-offs. John Hurwitz even hinted that they'd love to explore new characters like the Iron Dragons in different ways. "We just love playing in this sandbox," he said, making it clear that there's still plenty of story left to tell. So, is this really the end? Of course not. I mean, yes, Cobra Kai as we know it is done, but the world it built is still very much alive. And I have a feeling we haven't seen the last of these characters just yet. For more weekly updates on Cobra Kai Universe, make sure to like and follow. Meanwhile, the video on the screen might also interest you.